This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it is time for What in the World with Paul Seaburn and his sidekick, John Donalo. And it is Tuesday afternoon, and we are recording. So, all of you that are watching this are going to be streaming us because Zoom won't let us go live for whatever reason. So, boo to Zoom and yay to YouTube, where you can find us online. So
All
welcome,
right.
Paul.
Well,
No, that's good.
welcome everybody. Yeah, they can't go to Zoom, go to YouTube, Karen, because they're already there if they're watching us.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
it's very confusing to be speaking to people in the future, but we'll figure it out. So, anyways, welcome to all of you streaming us. I am Paul Sieber, and you are listening to or watching What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news show. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. That's our motto. We're here every week at 3:30. If you're listening live, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. We are in the Cleveland, Ohio area, and it is cold and it is slippery. It is well, most of us are in Cleveland. One of us is vacationing, but so he's nice and warm. We'll talk. We'll hear about that later. The but in Cleveland, it's a cold day. Um, so welcome wherever you're watching us from. We have listeners and YouTube viewers from around the world. I am constantly amazed and pleased at the uh, messages I get on Facebook and through other social media. People who are all over the place listening to us. So thank you so much for doing that, no matter where you are. Again, I am Paul Sieber, and I'm the editor and head writer at mysteriousniverse.org, where many of you have learned about What in the World. So welcome to you if you came from there. I'm also on Facebook. Welcome if you came from there. I have a lot of friends who I know are regular listeners. Thank you so much. Miriam, I hear from Miriam all the time, so I wanted to do a shout out to her. I haven't said hello to her in quite a while. Let's see. The first voice you heard was Karen Hale, our media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, our producer and co-host. Karen has a lot of great podcasts for you on newclevelandradio.net. Check them out while you're there. Also, check out her coaching services. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am somebody. I'm still watching the commercial, the Super Bowl. I am somebody. Yes, I can coaching with Karen, who's also our sponsor. So please visit her and find out all about the great coaching services she offers. And last but not least, our man down in Florida, John Donalo, my old buddy. What in the world of sports? Our color commentator and all around good guy. Hey, John, how you doing today?
Paul, I'm doing fine. Karen, I'm doing fine. And audience, I'm doing fine. I'm in Florida, and the weather here has been good. And not trying to rub it into the folks up in Cleveland still with the cool weather that's going on there. But no, things are good, and it's another show, so it should be great.
Wait, yeah, John is obviously a long time, lifelong Browns fan because it looks like the shirt that he's wearing was one that he wore in grade school. It's
Well, honestly, it looks like that, but it's a distressed T-shirt, and I'm trying to become a little bit more hip, in my old age, right? So I'm wearing something distressed. So, my so my nieces
okay.
and nephews get a kick out of that, right?
Yeah, it's going to take a lot more than that, John, for you to be hip. But that's okay. We like you just the way you are. So
Okay.
we got a great show for you this week. This is the place to come. What in the world? For the strange, the weird, the fun news from around the world. No politics, no business, no religion, none of that stuff that drives you nuts on the other media site. You come here to have a good time for an hour. Laugh, stick around. If you don't like one story, stick around for a minute and there'll be another one right after it. We highly recommend to check us out on YouTube because we do have photos that go along with the stories. We'll be describing them, but it's always fun to see those up close and personal as well. So let's see what we've got this week. Oh, I think every week I think we can't top last week. We topped last week. We've got Paris fashion is getting fishy. You'll find out what that means. Uh, Polish food in space. This is a popular story on Facebook this week. Should perfume smell like food? We answer that question on What in the World today. And oh, John's all excited because I told him ahead of time. We got some hot, and I emphasize the word hot, Bigfoot sightings from Washington State. So get ready for that, John.
Okay.
The world, I'm sorry if you're hungry. We're going to talk about the world's worst fried chicken, which is in England. Um, but if you're thirsty, we're going to talk about an unusual way that the Vikings used to drink beer. You'll want to hear this if you like beer. Plus, more odd news, world records. We've got trivia. John's got another great sport for us. So, and then we play everybody's favorite weird news game, Bluff the co-host. So I've got my horn lined up. I've got our strip lined up. Let's get right to story number one. Today is February 11th. We're recording, which means we're 3 days from Valentine's Day. So if if you're listening to us and you haven't gotten a gift for your sweetie, go get one. We'll listen to the end of the show, then go get one. If you're listening to us after the 14th and you didn't, my condolences to you. You know, the divorce is painful, but you should have remembered to get some candy. So just in time for Valentine's Day, Domino's, of all places, is offering, John, this is for you, a pepperoni-inspired perfume called, wait, I need to get a picture up for you, John. We'll put our oh, there's my book. What would you say to a naked space alien? Yeah, I always forget to plug it. Check it out on Amazon. What would you say to a naked space alien? Just search on naked alien, and that comes right up. Go to my site, paulseaburn.com, and I've got a link there as well. All right, let's go. So we've got pepperoni pizza and a perfume that smells like pepperoni called Eau de Passion. Domino's says it has, and I quote, irresistible notes of spice, pepper, and a woody, warm base. It goes perfectly with our pepperoni passion pizza, which is up there in the left-hand corner of that photo, next to the hunky model holding a triangular, supposed to be a pizza slice shaped bottle of Eau de Passion with pepperoni slices on the bottle. Because nothing says "Be My Valentine" like a greasy bottle of liquid sausage.
Paul, this is amazing. This is amazing to me. What kind of idea is this? I mean, it doesn't seem like it makes any sense.
I know. I don't know, but somebody thought it did. Here's my suggestion. It's the perfect gift for when you want to smell like that all-you-can-eat pizza night at Hooters. Perfume and pizza. That's what you're going to come home smelling like. Now, I don't know if you remember, it smells, as they said, a note of spice, pepper, and a woody, warm base. Let me tell you, if your pepperoni smells woody, I think you might be eating the box, not the pizza.
That seems to be what it is, Paul. Oh my.
Yeah. And if you're starting your date with somebody with a pepperoni pizza, maybe you should get some Eau de mouthwash rather than Eau de Passion.
Oh my.
Yeah. So continuing on the line of strange food, and so John, I take it you wouldn't be splashing some of this on before a.
No, in fact, I would never buy that. I mean. I mean, obviously not that I need to in a way, but I mean, why would someone buy that? Oh,
it's a big bottle too. I didn't.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah, it's a hunky guy who's holding it. Like, I don't know if he's smelling it, reminiscing his date with the girl who.
Yeah, well, it's an eye catcher. Let's put it that way. But beyond that, I don't know how effective it is.
I don't know. I don't know. All right, well, let's move on to another food story. Now, this is my favorite strange food story of the week. This one comes from England. The home England is the home of foods whose names you shouldn't say in mixed company, and I'm not even going to say them because you just look it up. All the strange names of food they have in England. So this comes from the Sides. SIDES is the name of the company. It's a fast food restaurant that's expanding in London. And It's a chicken restaurant, headquartered in Nashville, by the way. So they opened a branch in East London. So now the British are trying this stuff, and they're trying some new dishes just for their market. This one, get ready, chocolate barbecue chicken. Chocolate barbecue chicken does not appeal to my sweet tooth, nor my fried chicken tongue, nor my barbecue smelling nose. It doesn't appeal to any of those things.
Nothing.
Have to agree.
Yeah, does that sound good to you, Karen?
Absolutely not.
It doesn't even look good. It doesn't even look good. So it's fried chicken tenders. So the first warning sign there, they call them tenders because they don't look like any piece of a real chicken. So what else are you going to call them? Pieces, leg. It's not a leg, not a breast, not a thigh. It's a tender. And they're covered with chocolate barbecue sauce. Chocolate barbecue sauce, which sounds like that old Reese's peanut butter cup commercial. Hey, you got chocolate on my fried chicken. Hey, you got chicken on my fried chicken.
All right, that's a good one, Paul. Oh,
John,
my.
you remember that commercial?
I remember that commercial
chocolate.
because Reese's is my favorite that
Well,
was kind of a catchy commercial there for a while. But to Karen's point, this looks horrible. I mean, really.
It does.
It's still it. Do you know when that commercial first came on? 1972 was
Wow.
Was when they did the original Collision. Famous people. I was trying to find a picture of Ralph Malph from Happy Days. He was
Donnie Most. Donnie Most. Yeah.
That's right. Robbie Benson. There was a number of people that were in those commercials. And the tagline, once they said all that, was two great tastes that taste great together. Absolutely.
I remember that. Yeah.
Killer advertising slogan. 1972. This is 2025. 50. Wait, no. How many years later? 50. Yeah, 50 years later. I'm doing the math. 52, 53 years later, we still remember that slogan. So
yes.
Yeah. But chicken and chocolate, no on my account. I think the team here at What in the World says no. I'm guessing everybody out there is saying meh. So, speaking of fried chicken and maybe chicken wings, the Super Bowl was this weekend, so I'm sure everybody partook in their favorite Super Bowl snacks during the halftime show, and maybe even during the very boring game. I know John doesn't want to talk about how boring that game was, especially I don't remember who you picked to win.
I did pick the Eagles, but I did not think that they would win by the margin they did. And to your point, Paul, it really was almost at halftime. The game was over. It was just more of a game that they had to continue to play, obviously, in the second half. But Philadelphia dominated the game so much. I mean, and hats off to them though. They did a great job.
Oh, they did a good. Yeah, they did not. They were not given that game. The referees did not give anybody the game. It was
Sure.
On any given Sunday, you can win and you can lose, and that's what
That's right. That's very true, Paul.
So I'm sure many of you consumed beer during the Super Bowl. It's a religion. And there's plenty of ways to drink beer. You can drink it out of a can, you can drink it out of a bottle, out of a keg, out of a glass. You can get romantic, drink it out of your wife's shoe. I learned that one from John, by the way. That's
hey, I don't come on. Hey, listen, that shouldn't be out to the public, something like that, Paul. Come on.
I wouldn't even offer that to my wife because the first thing she would say is, I'm not going to ruin a good shoe, so somebody could drink beer out of it.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you what. On Super Bowl Sunday, nobody, and I guarantee this, nobody drank beer like the Vikings drank beer. And I had never heard this before. Wait till you hear this story. So I just saw this. This has been making the rounds on the internet. According to social media, the Vikings believed that if they died in battle, they would go to Valhalla, which is the afterlife, to Valhalla, where they would be met by a goat whose udders produced beer. And they were all excited about this, that there was one of the ways that they convinced the Vikings to go into battle, because if they died, they would go to Valhalla and meet this magical goat with udders full of beer. Um, you know, we had a goat. We had a beer goat in the fraternity, John. I don't know if you remember. It was the greatest of all time at chugging. Not quite the same as this. I don't think we didn't have any members that had udders.
That's a fact.
So here's a drawing, because we didn't have cameras back in the days of the Viking, and the goat's name was Heorun in Norse mythology, and that name in Norse mythology means, I don't care if it's beer, I'm not putting my lips on that.
Oh my!
But they didn't have to, because according to the legend, Heorun stands up on her hind legs in Valhalla and bites the bud off of this magical tree, which is called Lereo. From her teeth runs the mead, the beer, with which every day she fills a cauldron, which is so big that all the dead Viking heroes can drink their fill of it until the next day, when it's filled again with fresh beer from the udder of the goat in Valhalla.
That's quite a story, Paul. Wow.
It is. If this was a movie, it would be like Groundhog Day meets Animal House.
Oh my!
Every
Sure.
day, a cauldron full of beer. What this would be? This is a fraternity wet dream.
Yes, it is. That is true, Paul. That is true.
So, John, how thirsty would you have to be to even to drink it out of the cauldron? I'm not even going to ask you about drinking it from the goat.
I mean, not to be funny, okay. I mean, it's mythology. I understand that, right? But I would die of thirst instead of trying to drink beer from a goat's udder. I mean, just think of that. I mean, well, again, mythology is mythology, and people have their beliefs and all that. But Paul, let me ask you this: would you do it if you were thirsty?
John, I'm gonna quote the comment that I received most often on this story. That is utterly disgusting.
Oh, horn, please. Horn, please. Very good. Thank you.
I agree with you and everybody else out there 100%. We're not gonna do it, as George H.W. Bush would say. Not gonna do it. Okay. So we'll move on from that. So my relatives, friends of mine on Facebook, listeners of this show know that my favorite animal is the monkey. I love monkeys. We talked about this last week. Well, a couple weeks, I guess now, with the monkeys escaping in North Carolina being picked up. I like chimpanzees. I like monkeys. I like grease monkeys. We talked about this last week. Grease monkeys.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Yeah. You name it, I like monkeys. But they can test your patience, as they found out in Sri Lanka in Africa, where a nationwide power outage was caused by a monkey. Turns out the monkey got into some sort of power system and crossed some wires, and it didn't just blow out the station or the pole, it blew out the entire country. There was a time, for a short time that day, Sunday it was, the entire country was blacked out because of one monkey. And it was
This is funny.
Middle of the day, so it was hot. This is their summertime, not their winter. So it's hot, no air conditioning. People are complaining. They traced it to a monkey that climbed into a power station near the city of Colombo, not the Peter Falk Colombo, because he would have figured out right away what the problem was. They have an energy minister, Kumara Jayakoti, He told reporters, and I quote, "A monkey came into contact with our grid transformer, causing an imbalance in the power system. Uh, and many of the houses were without power through the night, so at least 12 hours without power. Pretty mad. Uh, People are saying, we need to change our infrastructure. Only in Sri Lanka can a monkey knock out the entire nation's
Yeah,
electricity."
really.
Yeah. So they didn't say what happened to the monkey. I went looking to see. I didn't want to. I was afraid to find out. But many people said that they saw a bright light swinging through the trees. So I'm guessing that it was electrified in some fashion. Uh,
Hmm.
one reporter actually tried to interview another monkey to see if they knew anything about it, and that monkey said that the monkey was now in heaven, drinking beer from the udder of a goat.
Oh, turnabout is fair play, I guess.
Little callback there, as we say in the comedy business. Okay, so let's go to from real animals to real expensive animals. Now, this story comes from France. Karen, this is for you and for all the ladies out there.
Okay.
Louis Vuitton. You all know who Louis Vuitton is. His fall winter 2025 collection of handbags has get ready for this, a lobster purse. There's a picture of it.
Ooh.
Yeah, with the famous Louis Vuitton logo and all the cute little designs and the brown color, brown and gold, in a purse shaped like a lobster. My wife had a lobster, the lovely Donna. She had a lobster purse once. That's what we called it. It was a regular purse with a plastic bag in it that we used to take to Red Lobster on all you can eat day. And she
All the
still,
secrets are being revealed today.
that's right, John. This is confession time. Um, so this is crafted from vachetta leather, whatever that is. It's expensive, I'm sure. The bag retains the beloved Louis Vuitton monogram motif, but takes the form of a charming crayfish. So they're calling it a crayfish, like that's sexier than a lobster. I don't know. Um, Complete with sculpted claws, antenna, and legs. So you can see, although the legs are actually the straps that buckle. There's buckles on them. The antenna is on the top of the purse, like where the zipper might be, and the claws. I'm not sure what you do with the claws. Um, this is not the thing to take on your next trip to New Orleans because it could end up in a gumbo. Um,
Oh, yeah, that's true. It could.
yeah,
Wow.
which it would be a very expensive gumbo, John, because
Yeah.
this purse cost $18,000.
Oh
No
my gosh.
way.
Yes,
Wow.
one purse, 18th, not even a big purse. You couldn't get much lobster at the all you can eat lobster fest at
No,
Red
I
Lobster.
don't think you could based on that picture.
Not even a
Wow.
few, not even a shrimp, or maybe the
Maybe
so
some small scallops or something, or some small smelts.
well, John, for $1,000 more, you can get one with official looking rubber band around the claws. So, um, with the
Well,
little
for
Louis
those of the
Vuitton logo
well-to-do,
on it. Yeah,
well, yeah, for
thousand.
people that are well-to-do, Paul, I guess they could do that, right?
I
Wow.
guess so. I guess so. Obviously not us. So,
No, it's not.
speaking of fish, here's another fishy story for you. Researchers, this one comes from Canada. So, researchers from Canada's Cetacean Research Group were studying the social interactions of river dolphins on the Amazon River. So, the Canadian researchers in Brazil studying dolphins in the Amazon River. And they discovered that the males of the species there's another picture of the lobster there. The males of the species like to lie on their backs in the water and urinate. Oh, their urination shoots over 3 feet high into the air. This is a picture of one. It's not too disgusting. You can't see all the vital parts. Um, the They often do it in groups. to the point where other fish look at it and they thought that maybe the Bellagio opened a branch down on the Amazon and was, making new fountain, dolphin fountain. They this is the part I couldn't believe. These dolphins urinate 3 feet into the air. If men could do that, if men could do that, every urinal in the world would have a target in it, and
Right.
it
Something
would
to
be
shoot
an
for,
Olympic
so to speak.
sport. Yeah, it would be an Olympic sport. Actually, it would be two sports. One would be target shooting, and the other would be synchronized.
Oh, what you learn on What in the World?
Yes.
I can hear the cheers if it was at the Olympics for this event. It would be spew SA, spew SA.
Oh my.
But wait,
Oh.
there's more. Um, these, these dolphins are famous because many of them are pink. We've talked about this on the show a long time ago. Pink dolphins down in the Amazon. This is the same species. But I don't know if they roll on their back and pee in the air too. Maybe they're blushing. Somebody saw them and they turned pink. I don't know. But the researchers said that they can't explain it. They call it, the technical term, aerial urination, likely serves a social function beyond waste elimination, but they can't explain it beyond social or communicative function. So they're thinking that the dolphins, the male dolphins, communicate with each other by shooting 3 feet into the air. Again, if men could do this, we'd never stop communicating. I mean,
That's the way of putting it. That's the way of putting it, Paul. Wow.
and finally, John, way back when, I think we saw synchronized urinating dolphins open for the turtles back in the day.
We may have, but it's too many years ago for me to remember concretely.
There you go. That's right. But for all we know, you could have been drinking beer out of a goat's udder that day. Okay.
That's possible. That's possible.
Speaking of, we're not speaking of anything here. So it's I know John's been waiting patiently for the Bigfoot story. So
Yes, I have been.
Yes,
I have.
An interesting week of Bigfoot stories. So the first, all of them came from the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization. We talked about them many times. RMSO is a bunch of people who collect information on sightings from around the United States. They have investigators that will go out. They'll call the witnesses. They post videos, and that's where I got the photos here. They do have some videos of these sightings as well. So just go to, I think it's rmso.org. But just look up Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization, and you can find them as well on the internet. So the video in question here was titled Togo Sasquatch on Thermal Trail Cam in Kettle Mountains of Washington. Now, I'm not sure why they called the Sasquatch a Togo. It's not from Africa, which is a city. Togo is a city in Africa. It also means to carry something, but I can't tell if the Bigfoot is carrying something. So I never did find out that. But anyways, so here's the first photo. So the first thing they did was they posted a close-up of the Bigfoot that the first person submitted. This was taken by a lady using, believe it or not, a cell phone camera in Washington.
Okay.
These were actually from two different spots in Washington. One was on the northern border with Canada. The other one was on the southern border with Oregon. So this one is a close-up. You can see the red circle in case you can't see Bigfoot there. For those of you not looking at the picture, all I can say is it's a little blurry. John will give us more. We'll go back to it in a second. So
okay.
And this is from the distance. So I put my own circle in here. So this is what it looked like from where she was standing. Now this is actually from a video. I saw the video, and you could see some sort of hairy humanoid upright on two legs thing walking up the hill. So the RMSO people called her up. They talked to her. They thought that this was a good video of a potential Bigfoot. Then they found some footprints. So also in the same area. Now this is the first footprint. It's a weird looking kind of mud that this particular Bigfoot stepped in. We only have a picture of 1 foot footprint. You can see the toes. You can't really see the heel. Kind of an arch there. Here's the second footprint. This one's a little. They backed off a little bit. They put a ruler next to it, so it's not quite 12 inches long. Pretty wide. You can see the toes. So then the best part, though, they found a trackway. They call it a trackway, which is a path that Bigfoots walk in the Cascades, which is near the Canadian border. So this is on the other side of Washington. It was documented by a man who was ice fishing, and it shows a Bigfoot on a infrared camera. So, he took the footprints. I'm sorry, he took the footprints. The thermal footage was taken by a Bigfoot investigator using a state-of-the-art FLIR, F-L-I-R, thermal imaging camera, which again, I'll point out that this is a photo. There is a video of it, so you can see that illuminated shape walking from the center of this photo up till it disappears off to the side. So it does look like something hot. That's why I said it was a hot Bigfoot story. Something hot, something warm, being picked up by the thermal imaging camera. So I'll go back to the first one, John. So we've got three or four photos here. This is the close-up of that the lady took in the woods. So you see a black shape up against the green foliage. Bigfoot to you?
No, you know what? I think this first one, okay, you could make a case that it's a bear. I mean, there's nothing again, and this is a common occurrence, as we know, folks. I mean, it could be Bigfoot, but again, distance and how blurry it is doesn't make it concrete. I mean, to me, it could be that, but it's definitely not. So that's my take on the first one.
Okay, a bit of a head. It does have some sort of head.
Right.
This one was not moving. Now, this second one, as I said, I saw the video of this one. So I will point out, John, that you don't have I can't show the video, but it did not look like a bear walking upright up the hill. It was walking more like a person, or like maybe a Bigfoot would walk.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that, Paul. Yeah. I mean, but
And
again,
swinging its
unfortunately,
arms as well. So,
well, see, now that's something different. I think the video would probably bring more credence to it. But what I am still amazed by, as I say a lot of the times, can't anyone get closer? I mean, I mean, really. I mean, at
I
the
know.
end of the day, well, forget about like in between the branches of the tree. Look how far that person is that took that photo or that video. So that's my concern on that one.
You want him to yell, like, "Hey, Bigfoot, look over here," and
Well,
take a.
yeah, I mean, anything like that would I think give more lend more credence to it. I mean,
I,
now, yeah, I'm not convinced.
I get you. I get you. The Rocky Mountain guys like this one because of the movement, so they like that
Well,
one.
I
We got the.
understand that.
This one is I don't think is as good as the second one here. Um, the
Yeah, on first blush, um, could be anything. I mean,
I know
really,
could be a bear. I can see what
yeah,
you're
sure,
saying.
sure. So I don't see that, Paul and Karen. So
But
that's my take on
this
that
one
one.
here looks more like maybe a
Th-
foot, or it could be,
Well,
you know, a
well,
cutout.
again, yeah. I mean, it looks like like a toe imprint or toes imprints, but again, only one, not two, not four, not six. I mean, somehow we've seen this movie more than once, folks. I mean, really.
Well, I'll tell you, John, because we love your commentary so much, we have decided here at the What in the World headquarters to start a contest. The big John Donalo's Give Me a Good Photo contest, and we're going to ask people to find me on Facebook or send an email to Karen. If you have a nice clear Bigfoot photo, please send it in so that John can see what a clear Bigfoot looks like. And
Well, go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we have a prize. You don't just we do have a prize that goes along with this. We have an official $1 big. Here it is, a $1 Bigfoot buck from the
Oh,
Bigfoot
in the
National
spirit.
Bank. The
No,
$1 bill with
boy, I tell you what. I mean, that's a collector's item right there. If I've ever seen one. Yes.
But
Oh, I'm look.
everybody, even on your cell phones today, you can zoom in pretty far, okay? Or if you have a really good camera with a zoom on it, like just don't take a snapshot, like zero in on Bigfoot.
Good one, Karen. Good one. Sure.
You get a Bigfoot buck. We got incentive. Okay, so let's hear from everybody here out there. All right, John, thanks for your input on those.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, this one, I also got a thanks going down to Florida as well. This is to Don T, a longtime friend of mine, a longtime friend of the show. He sent me this excellent story this week. So, police in Pennsylvania are exasperated as they scramble to crack open the case of the missing $100,000 eggs worth $40,000 that were poached from the back of a trailer. Crime experts examining the trailer for clues think it's the work of an egg-omaniac who was exhausted from shelling out so much for a dozen eggs. This is a true story. True story. 100,000 eggs that they valued at $40,000, which tells you how much eggs are costing these days.
Oh yeah.
I looked it up before we got on the show, and they still haven't found who stole all these eggs or who ate them. You got to eat all those eggs. This is bad. I went to the grocery store after this hit the news, and there was a Brinks truck out front. I thought they were picking up the proceeds from the store. They were delivering eggs. So,
well, it's a sign of the times, folks.
Yeah. Well, John, this heist. They're calling it a heist. The egg heist.
Yeah, sure.
They're going to make it. Yeah, they're thinking about making it into a movie. Cluck Cassidy and the Sunny Side Up Kid.
Oh my, that's very imaginative, Paul. Very imaginative, but it deserves the horn, though.
I tell you, the prices are so high. I bought a dozen eggs. I came home and right away I hard boiled all of them because I didn't want. I was afraid if I drop one, that's one egg down the drain.
You want to do that? No.
Oh no, the cake that I made with them was a little lumpy, but that's the way.
Yeah.
All right, but we got a lot of food on this show. This is a food show this week, people. So here's another one. The next mission to the International Space Station will include, get ready for this, a Polish astronaut. His name is Stawaz Uzansky Wisniewski. Okay, I'm only going to say that once. He will be carrying freeze-dried pierogies. Those are Polish dumplings. He's taking freeze-dried pierogies to eat while he's in space. The mission control people said they're grateful because his name is so hard to pronounce that they can just refer to him as the Pierogi Kid.
Oh yeah, why not? Sure.
Yeah, which is what I'm going to call him. Yeah, here's a picture of. I lost him. Let's see. What did I do? There we go. He's in here somewhere. There he is.
There he is.
Handsome guy, handsome Polish gentleman. There's and next to a dozen pierogies there with fried onions on them. I'm hungry now. So he's taking them freeze dried. I'm afraid aliens are going to find these dumplings. So he doesn't need all. Yeah, John, this is terrible. In fact, it bothered me so much. I dreamt about it. Now I'm going to write a movie about it. I'm calling it The Invasion of the Pierogi Snatchers.
Now that's different.
Yeah. So you have to freeze dry the pierogies to take them because of weight. Take the liquid out so they don't weigh as much.
Okay.
So yeah. So I guess that's okay. he says they worked for several weeks on the recipe for the pierogies. He worked with a little pierogi making company, and they mastered the process. Thanks to this, I hope the pierogi in space will be as tasty as they are on Earth. Well, pierogi kid, they will if you also take some freeze-dried pivo to reconstitute while you're up there. For those of
Oh,
you
yeah,
who know,
sure.
freeze-dried pivo is what you get from the udders of a freeze-dried goat.
Oh my gosh, these udders we're never getting away from them. I would see the udder story coming back in the next couple of weeks, ladies and gentlemen. So just be prepared for that.
I know. I'm sorry. The yeah. So pivo is beer, obviously. For those of you who missed that reference. Okay. Circus perform. Oh, this is coming up in the summer, so I'm sure we'll visit this again. Circus performer Jose Valencia of Colombia set a Guinness World Record for the longest duration juggling 5 balls while performing a headstand. And he did this. He juggled 5 balls in a headstand on a stand, not on the floor, but on a stand, 45 seconds. Never dropped one. He could have gone longer, but one of the judges yawned and it distracted him, and he had to come out.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Wow.
My head hurts just watching this guy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. I tried this once. What happened was I was delivering balls to the pitching machine at baseball practice, and I tripped, and all the balls went up in the air, and I didn't exactly do it for 45 seconds, but for about a quarter of a second, I was juggling 5.
Well, good for you, Paul.
Not on my head though. So he trained for a year to do this. He trained for a year, which means they must not have an internet in Colombia.
They don't have anything else to do better down there.
Yeah. Or he doesn't have a girlfriend or a wife, obviously, or unless she's into this kind of thing. I don't know. He's upside down in a very strange pose. So maybe she is into that. Okay. Another world record. We're going to leave it at there. Another world record. A skateboarding Cocker Spaniel broke the Guinness World Record for the longest human tunnel traveled by a dog on a skateboard when he rode under 40 people standing with their legs apart. So if you can picture that, 40 people stood with their legs apart. The dog at one end gets on a skateboard and starts pedaling or whatever you do on a skateboard, pushing, and pushed itself all the way underneath 40 people. He set a second dog record for the most crotches sniffed in 10 seconds.
Oh my gosh. Oh my.
This is the perfect thing to teach your dog if you've got a yard full of squirrels that ride skateboards. Other than that, I don't know why you would do something like this. The dog looks cute, I guess. This is, believe it or not, and this is true, this is an emotional support dog while also being a skateboard riding dog. That wouldn't work for me. I see a dog riding on a skateboard, I immediately feel depressed because I can't ride a skateboard. So,
oh my.
John, have you ever been on a skateboard?
Yes, many, many, many years ago, when skateboarding first came into play, like in the 60s, yeah, I did, as a matter of fact, but kind of lost my interest in that as time went on. But yeah, it was real popular in our neighborhood.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. I got one. We had some relatives in California, and they sent me one for a birthday present. Nowhere near as sophisticated as these are today. So I wiped out enough times that I decided.
Oh, sure, that was part of it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wonder if dogs think this is a better way to get around than running. Riding on a skateboard.
Well, it maybe saves their paws. I mean, right, and they don't have to exert that much energy, right? I mean, I don't know.
Good point, John. The way I was thinking about it, though, is I think it'd be fun, if they could ride and then lift up one leg, find a
the hydrant, yeah,
fire hydrant, and circle around it. Yeah, they could do circles around it, kind of like the synchronized urinating dolphins, only in a dogs on skateboards urinating synchronously.
That's different, to say the least.
Okay. We'll go to Athens, Georgia. I got a sports story here for you, John. Athens, Georgia. police were called to break up a fight between fans of the Rock Lobsters hockey team and a group of males dressed as bananas who were part of a banana bar crawl event. The bananas got off with a warning, but the Rock Lobsters were hauled to the police station with their hands in rubber bands. Now, the these banana, this is a big thing down there. The people dress up like bananas and they go from pub to pub, bar to bar, drinking and I don't know if they get their banana costume signed or what. So one of my fans on Facebook said they look more like corn on the cob than bananas. Now, the Rock Lobsters, by the way, the fans of the Rock Lobsters said they would have won the fight, but their leader slipped on one of those banana costumes and
slipped on the peel. Oh my!
Yeah. Now, just to show you, this is a real thing. Here's the Athens Rock Lobsters logo. I think this is pretty cool. It's a lobster. We second lobster in the show this week. I think that's a record for us. Playing the guitar, really rocking out. A heavy metal lobster here.
That's a cool logo.
Yeah, I thought so too. I think minor league hockey team, but apparently they have a pretty big fan base. So, all right, my last story. We have many friends of the show down in Texas. I lived in Texas for 28 years. I have been to this grocery store chain that we're going to talk about next. Police, in fact, this story comes from the Woodlands, Texas, which is a city, a planned community north of Houston. It was just north of where I lived in Spring, Texas. So no more than 5 miles, I would have been in the Woodlands. Very, very nice community. I couldn't afford it. That's how nice it was. So police in the Woodlands, Texas, were called to an H-E-B grocery store, which was my personal favorite grocery store down in Texas. And they found a Subaru Crosstrek on its side, parked in between two other cars.
Oh my gosh.
In normal spaces. Yeah. Yes. They took photos, the police did, and they sent the photos to police departments all across the country with this warning. They said, don't mess with Texas drivers. This is what will happen. They don't care. So if there's no spaces, they'll park on their side. They don't care. And I believe that. I actually do believe that. H-E-B, my favorite grocery store. I don't remember what H-E-B stands for. I think it was the initials of the three brothers that founded the chain. But you would see stuff like this on the road all the time. Texas drivers are fast and furious, is what they are. I'll say that's the nicest thing. If there was two cars from out of state, if they saw a car from out of state and it was taking up a parking space, this is what they would do. They'd tip it on its side and they'd pull into the space themselves. So
that's very ruthless down there. Very ruthless in Texas.
Don't mess with them, John.
I understand that.
You can't let Yankees take our parking spaces. Come down here.
Some people are still fighting the Civil War. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, that's right. Remember the H-E-B. That's what they say. I thought so. To my friend, I don't think any of our listeners live in the Woodlands, but they do live close to the Woodlands. I do know that. But fun story there. So. That reaches the end of my portion of What in the World, the news stories, which means it's time for What in the World of Sports with John Dinallo. So, John, I've known John ever since college. We talk about being fraternity brothers. John knows more about sports than anybody I know. He's a great trivia guy, just a great all-around guy. Every week I challenge him, John, find us a story that fits with the theme of What in the World, and which is real sport. Sometimes strange, always funny. And John always manages to find an unusual sport for it. I already know up front what he's going to be talking about. I'm looking forward myself to hearing this one. So, because we have a personal connection. So, John, take it away.
All right, Paul, thanks for the introduction. I appreciate that. So, if you were listening to the show last week, you may remember that our sport last week was rock, paper, scissors. This week, we have another hand game, and this time it's from Italy, and it's called Mora. And for those of you interested, it's spelled Morra. So Mora dates back thousands of years to ancient Roman and Greek times. In ancient Rome, it was called machatio, and playing was referred to as mais digitis, literally to flash with the fingers. Now, the name Mora is actually a corruption of the verb macari. Now,
Wow.
the game was so popular in ancient Rome, it became a proverb used to denote an honest person. Now, I had taken 4 years of Latin in high school, and I also served Mass in Latin, the Latin language. So I'm going to try to wing this phrase. So bear with me. Dingus est quicum in gene rid mises, which literally means he is a worthy man with whom you could play Mora in the dark with. Uh,
Oh, I remember that from church. Yeah. That was during the Latin Mass, we used to say that. No, I'm just kidding. That's pretty
but
interesting. So it goes back to ancient Rome. Oh, wait.
yeah, well, and the popularity element is something that I had no idea of. In fact, Misadio in Italy became so popular that believe it or not, it came to be used to settle disputes over the sale of merchandise in the Roman Forum. The game followed Roman colonists as they spread through Europe, the Near East, and into North Africa. The game is also mentioned by Aristotle, the famous Greek philosopher, but it was not as common in Greece as it was in Italy. Mora is also described on the images of the Theban tombs in Egypt dating back to 1300 BC. Now, the rules of Mora are very simple. It can be played with two or more players. Each player simultaneously reveals their hand with any number of fingers extended and then calls out a number. Any player who successfully guesses the total number of fingers revealed by all the players combined scores 1 point. The first player to reach 3 points wins the game. Now, some variants of Mora include money, with the winner earning an amount equal to the sum of the fingers displayed. So this can really become a a a costly venture for some, or a very lucrative ventures for others that can win. Now,
You could,
today,
yeah.
today, Mora can be found throughout the entire country of Italy, notably in Sardinia, where it is called Sa Mura. It is also played in Spain, Corsica, France, Portugal, Cyprus, Istria, Dalmatia, Herzegovina, and Malta. Now, there is also a variant in Spain called chinos, where coins are used instead of fingers. Mora is played also in Arab countries, where it is called Mukharaja. In southern France, it is called La Mort. In China and Mongolia, it is called Huaquan, which means as fist quarrel, and is actually played as a drinking game,
Oh, what a
which I've had some personal experience of playing Mora, also as a drinking game. Now, it is also popular in North and South American communities with large Italian populations. Sometimes these locations are called Little Italies. For example, in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, they hold an annual tournament in February, and it raises money for a local charity associated with, coincidentally, Helping Hands. Now, in 2005, this is for you, Karen, the Italian Fingers Championship, or IFC, became an official tournament for a team version of Mora. So we have, again, organization there as well. Now, for you kids, there's even a digital version. There's a digital version of the Sardinian version of the game. So don't feel out that your parents or grandparents are playing. You can participate as well. Now, Mora may have Italian origins, but anyone can play. Just make sure you regularly change the number of fingers you show. Otherwise, you could become known as the odd father.
Oh,
Oh,
Just a
God.
word to the wise, a word to the wise on that.
Don't play. Yeah.
well,
I gotta say the other word to the wise is if you're not Italian, don't play this game. The
You might get taken. You might get taken if you're not.
you might get taken. I was just looking at this last photo that we have here, John, and it says the world's oldest game. There was another caption that also said it was the world's loudest game, and I guess
Oh,
that comes
yeah.
shouting the numbers out as they laid their fingers out. I mean, if you can imagine playing rock paper scissors while yelling at each other, that's pretty much a description of Mora. Um, at least the sound of it. So interesting game. So I did. At this point in John's stories, for those of you who are regular listeners, you know that I will say something to the effect of, I've never heard of this story before. I've never heard of this sport. And then I thought, back when we were in college, John, we we played something like this. So today, and we all know that I make something up. Well, today that is actually a true statement. Um, Back when we were in our fraternity, freshman year at John Carroll University in Cleveland, Ohio, University Heights, I was witness to John as well as many other Italians playing Mora in our student activity center. And I have a couple of photos. John always asks for photos because he can never remember. So I actually have a couple of photos of our fraternity brothers playing Mora. So here's one right here. I don't have any of John or myself, but these are two other Italians who were in our fraternity. These are our brothers, our from our pledge class. Here's another photo for you, John. Well, for our friend Dan down in South Carolina and Bill, and also in South Carolina, who are also our fraternity brothers. It's Jim and Nick. Well, I won't use their last names.
Yeah, that's Jim and Nick for sure in our pledge class, right?
Yeah, that's right. And then this photo here is Nick and Sammy. So everybody knows who Sammy is. Nick is the coach from St. Ignatius who just passed away recently. So Sammy, by the way, was the founder of Sammy's Restaurant down in the Flats for many years.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. So we used to see, I used to see, in fact, I played this myself. They tried to teach the dumb Slovak how to play Mora, but forget it. Forget it. That's a true statement. If you went up against the Italians, you were going to lose. That's just the way it
I
goes.
kind of find it interesting, Paul, because yeah, I mean, in the student activity center, your point about being loud, playing the game, there were complaints about our fraternity because we're no, because
Yes.
we were so loud, okay? And there is some significance to it when you play, speaking Italian. In other words, you're throwing out your fingers, right? But you're not using like five or two or whatever.
Oh, that's
So
right.
you're saying it in the Italian language, which
Yeah.
has its own vibe, so to speak. But
It's
that
like,
was a lot of fun
like
for a long
German.
time. We
Yeah.
played that
It's
a
like
lot.
German. It's meant to be shouted. So,
Oh yeah, it is for sure. I think a person who is quiet or his more mild manner, I don't know if they're going to do that well. Part of it is being
yeah.
able to do that. And I'll leave it with this: we used to we used to go to a bar and we used to play. We said earlier, playing for money. We used to play for drinks. Whichever
Oh,
team
yeah.
could, you would owe, the person that beat you a drink or two or whatever. So
Right.
yeah, it became a lot of fun actually.
Definitely. Definitely. It's a great memory, John. Thank you so much for
Ah,
bringing
you're
that.
welcome, Paul. Thank you.
All right. Well, that means it's time for everybody's favorite weird news show, Bluff the Co-host. So, Bluff the Co-host. Oh boy, the fans of Bluff the Co-host all over the world. For those of you who haven't played before, real simple rules. I have three stories similar to the ones that we've been talking about all afternoon. One big difference: those stories were real. These may be real, may be a bluff, and it's up to you, Karen and John, to decide which they are. Wagering is allowed, so place your bets. John and Karen, hands on the buzzer. Let's get right to story number one. Everyone is concerned about the quality of their tap water. That is, everyone except the citizens of Warsaw, Poland. Their city services department is able to give them clean water and cut costs at the same time by using 8 mussels. That's the seafood kind of mussels, with sensors hot glued to their shells to monitor and automatically shut off the city water supply if the shellfish doesn't like the way the water tastes. When 4 of the 8 mussels close their shells, the control system automatically shuts off the water until it clears up. Mussels are employed for 3 months at a time before being put back into the wild. And it works so well that 50 other cities in Poland are looking into using Warsaw's mussel-powered filtering system. Okay, so Warsaw, Poland uses mussels, friends of the oysters, relative of oysters, to decide when to turn off the water supply because the water is too dirty. Real or bluff? Karen, we'll start with you.
Well, if this is real, then this city of Flint, Michigan, better start, importing mussels.
Oh,
So I'm going to say it's a great story, but it's not real.
Wow, okay. All right. But Karen putting a plug in just in case it might be. So she's got a place to try it out. So Karen says it's a bluff. John, how about you?
I agree with Karen on this. I mean, to me, I, I I don't see how someone goes to this extent to put sensors on a mussel. I mean, like how are people able to do that and then record it? I just find it too far fetched. This is one isn't the far fetched category for me, guys. So I'm going to say that it's false.
Okay, so John says it's a bluff. Karen says it's a bluff. Let's check with the judges. And the judges say, haha, that's a real story. I have
How much?
I have,
Wait a minute, Paul. Wait a minute. Well, go ahead.
no,
Go ahead. Give me your answer.
it is a real story there. That's actually what they do. I have tasted the water. I've been to Warsaw, Poland, and I known that there was mussels involved. I may have gotten bottled water or drank something other than water, but that's what they do. Somebody figured it out. Mussels are very sensitive to water quality, and so that's, I agree,
Hard to
Karen.
believe. Hard to believe here on what in the
Yep,
world.
Water in, I think the water in Flint might kill the mussels before they had a chance to
that's
close their.
true.
Oh
That's
wow,
true.
yeah.
Okay, so that means this. Oh, and by the way, that story came to us from the lovely Donna, my wife,
Oh, thank
contributed.
you, Donna. Very good.
All right, Donna,
So,
always contributing. That's good.
we're tied 0-0. Let's get right to story number two. It seems like everyone is trying to lose weight, but not everyone wants to take Ozempic. So scientists at a college in London conducted an experiment with different kinds of music and found that people who listen to classical music during meals tend to eat less and consume healthier foods. On the other hand, people who eat while listening to jazz, rap, or rock music tend to eat more and prefer junk food over salads. The scientists say this is because classical music works on the same brain area that controls hunger. So if you can't control the music, they suggest using earplugs. And if you want to cut back on beer, don't listen to polkas. So outside of that last one, story from London, researchers say listening to classical music while you eat will help you lose weight and eat healthier. Real or bluff? John, we'll start with you this time.
Well, I'll tell you what, I would say this is true. I could see that occurring. I say it's true.
Okay. And you don't listen to classical music while you eat, do you?
No, I don't. But I
Neither
do,
do I.
but
Okay.
but I do listen to classical music. People will find that hard to believe in some cases,
Oh, that's true.
but I have, yes, many times, as a matter of fact.
So John says that that's a real story. Karen, how about you?
I think it's true. I think I've heard this before. So I think as of tonight, I'm going to listen to classical music when I eat dinner.
Oh, wow, great. Okay, so both Karen and John say that that's a real story. We check with the judges. Judges say congratulations to both of you. That is a real story.
Okay, okay, we're on the scoreboard there, Karen.
How about that?
Hooray!
Yep.
Scores tied 1-1. Points are doubled in round number 3, but it doesn't really matter. We'll either have a winner or we'll have a tie. So let's get right to it. A linguist who grew up on a farm in Holland said she's always been fascinated with how cows communicate. So she took a summer off, went home, and studied her family's dairy cows. Her new study revealed what she found. Cows communicate with each other by the size of their cow patties. She noticed that cows sniff each other's patties, stare at them, and even move them around with their hooves. She determined that a small patty indicates potential danger, a large patty says things are okay, and one that's been stepped in seems to indicate a change in the weather is coming. With rain being with rain being one footprint, snow being two, and thunderstorms or tornadoes being signaled by a smeared patty. The linguist has trained her family to read the patties and plans to publish a book so dairy farmers worldwide can start reading poo and listening to their cows. All right, we'll start with Karen, the linguist who says cows communicate by the size of their cow patties. Real or bluff?
I'm very concerned about you and John. John did a story on cow patties. Now you're telling us a story about cow patties.
That's right, Karen. That's right.
And I don't want to hear any more of this stuff. So I'm going to say it's false.
Okay, Karen says it's a bluff. John, another cow patty expert here. What do you say?
Well, I'm going to put this one, folks, into the category of it's so strange it's true. And not because I did the cow patty story before, Karen, but I mean, I'm going to say it's true. I'm going to say that there's some validity to this, and that's how cows operate. So I'm going to say that's true.
Okay, John says kind of like dogs sniffing each other. Cows communicate with their cow patties. John says that's true. Karen says no, it's not. It's a bluff. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say the winner this week is Karen.
Thank God.
Oh, Karen. Well, in a way, well, thank you. I mean, good luck to you there, Karen. I'm glad you won. And
no more cow patty stories.
Okay, I guess we're gonna have to put them off to the side now. We're gonna have to shelf those stories. Okay, okay.
That's funny. Forgot about that. You're right. Um, wouldn't, wouldn't have mattered. I was going to do it anyways. All right. Well, that means we have reached. Oh, congratulations to Karen there. I think that.
Oh yeah, congrats,
well,
congrats,
yeah.
Karen.
John is slipping down there in Florida. So
well, you know what that means, folks. Back to the flashcards, and
right.
I'll be studying with Annette this week, so I got to try to come back next week.
All right, great. Well, that we have reached the end of another episode of What in the World. I want to thank Karen Hale, our producer, media mogul, co-host. Thank you, Karen, for everything you do for us at What in the World. Thank you for everything that you do for all the podcast hosts at newclevelandradio.net. Please check out the website. Check out those podcasts as well as ours. Also, check out Yes I Can Coaching with Karen for all your coaching needs. Great place to go. If you also, you can go to my website, paulseaburn.com. I have a link to newclevelandradio.net. I have a link to our podcast on various platforms. I also have a link to my book. We got links all over the place. So just check out. Check them out. And again, thank you, Karen. And thank you to John Dinalo, my old buddy. And this week, you all know my fraternity brother, Mora playing aficionado. Thanks for that great. Thanks for everything.
Oh, you're welcome, Paul and Karen. But it was good that, like you said, Paul, this is one of the few times we have some accuracy on that about back in school what we did. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I hope, and then I want to thank everybody out there listening. I hope you had as much fun with all those stories, not just that one, but all of them, as we had in bringing them to you. That's the whole reason why we do this every week at What in the World is we know we have a good time. We get a good laugh out of it. We want to spread that around the world. That's what in the World is all about. So please tell your friends, tell other people who like to listen to podcasts, to stream them. They'll watch us on YouTube. Spread the word. What in the World is a place to be for an hour a week for laughs and good times and funny stories. So again, thanks to all of you. Don't forget our contest. You can win a Bigfoot buck with a good, clear photograph of Bigfoot that convinces John Bigfoot is real. And on that note, I think we will. And happy Valentine's Day to everybody.
Absolutely.
Don't forget.
Have a good week, everyone. Take care. Happy
Talk to
Valentine's
y'all
Day.
next week. Bye now.